Hi, Alissa.
Hey, Katie.
Welcome to episode 333.
This is a replay of our Hustle Humbly community live Zoom call that we had. It was on keeping boundaries during a busy season, like the holidays.
Exactly. So it seemed the perfect time to replay it for you. If you're a community member, you might have been there live for this.
And when we ended our live, we both looked at each other and said, that was really good.
Yeah.
That was good discussion. So we thought maybe it would be helpful to our listeners.
Right.
So we hope you get some good nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
There's some good stories, some good examples, and just a reminder to take it easy and enjoy your holidays.
Yeah, if this is the kind of chat you'd like to participate in and you aren't in community, you're always able to jump in.
We do a monthly live, and we usually have a different topic each month. And we just love getting to meet y'all because y'all feel like y'all know us, and community lets us get to know you in return.
That's right.
So enjoy this live, and we hope
we're in
brings you-
Christmas week now, yes?
It is Christmas week. Yes. So we hope it brings you some peace and reassurance.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So everyone, we're going to just dive right into our boundaries chat, and then we'll take some questions, and we actually have some case studies, and our friend Emily is going to share a special story with us as well. So we have a lot of things to cover, but I think we'll manage to get to all of them.
And boy, were y'all excited to talk about boundaries. Sounds like everybody is struggling a little bit, as we all are. And I actually just texted Tanner and was like, we have to sit down together and look at our calendars and make sure that we are all synced up so that we
ready for the season.
Where I understand when hunting happens. He understands when my stuff happens and when our stuff happens, and it's a lot to coordinate. So
we want to specifically cover boundaries in the realm of being in a busier season of life with the holidays. So a lot of times I think we think about putting our boundaries in place so that we can reduce our workload, but sometimes our life load gets so large that we are trying to figure out how to work and be present in our life. And we don't want to neglect our business. So we feel guilty when we do that.
Mm-hmm.
But we also feel guilty. We feel guilty about it either way. So do you want to read your quote for us?
I don't know. I kind of feel like because of what you said, I want to start with one of our stories.
Okay, fine. Do that.
So one of the emails that we did receive spoke to both of us about, I'll just read it to y'all. With the chaos of life, and we're not even to the holidays yet, I feel like I'm trying to fit work into life. I need to get back to working with life mixed into it and or done outside of some type of business hours. I'm thinking I need to do some time blocking. Just have to figure that out. And then I sent her our episode on time blocking and just told her, to be mindful, because sometimes when we say we're going to time block, that can just set us up for failure. Because in our job, we have to be so flexible. That is episode 212, by the way. It is, Holly. Go listen to episode 212 if you feel like time blocking makes you feel like a failure. So after she listened to that episode, she emailed back and said, that episode was so incredibly helpful. Thank you for sending it my way. I just moved 3 weeks ago, and I'm frantically trying to stay afloat with life, kids, and work. Yesterday, there was no school, and I had to shut work off so I could focus on organizing my house and my mind clutter. I felt guilty for not working, but listening to this episode and learning that it's okay to take a day off was so incredibly helpful. And I just think that so many of the emails we have received have said just as much. And sometimes people are trying to figure out how to fit life into their work. And then sometimes people are feeling like they need to figure out time to work because life is taking over. And this is like the dance that we do, is when we're living our best life, we feel guilty because we're not at work. And when we're at work, we feel very guilty that we're not living our best life.
We're not just podcast hosts, we're working agents too.
That's why we share our real-life best practices in the Hustle Humbly community, like the seller video I sent out recently.
Yes, and the group shines brightest when it's not just us sharing.
Our members share their wins, tricky situations, smart ideas, and support each other so we can all grow together.
Realtors Learning from Realtors is the magic of the Hustle Humbly community, and we want to share that magic with you.
So join us at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership.
Okay, it's interesting too. I sent the email yesterday where I was talking about preparing, sort of priming yourself right now in this season for that period of time where like maybe you want to clean up your email, maybe you want to do an extra check-in with your clients and just like see how everything is and kind of get everything wrapped up and feeling like in a nice settled place before maybe you'll be stepping away from work more during this time.
Yeah. And I had a quote written down that I've actually had this quote saved in my phone since I had Haven in 2017. And it really helped me to sort of like flip my mindset on how I'm thinking about the same situation. So I'm just going to read it to y'all. This is a quote from Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And she said that, and she's speaking to the fact that we feel guilty when we're at work and then guilty when we're at home. So that's no way to live. So her quote was, "Work-life balance was a term not yet coined in the years that my children were young. But I truly believe my success in law school, I have no doubt, was in large measure because of baby Jane. I attended classes and I studied diligently until 4 p.m. Then the next hours were Jane's time spent at the park, playing silly games or singing funny songs, reading picture books and poems, bathing and feeding her. After Jane's bedtime, I returned to the law books with renewed will. Each part of my life provided respite from the other and gave me a sense of proportion that many of my classmates lacked." And I think having that mindset shift has helped me so much just in life of thinking, instead of feeling guilty, feeling like thankful and excited, thankful and excited, thankful and excited. Like whenever I'm at work, like after I drop my kids off at carpool, I'm like, thank God I can go do what I'm good at now. And I'm like so happy to get to the office and like problem solve and negotiate contracts. And then by the time the workday is over, I'm like, I'm ready to just go like relax, play with them, be silly, like turn off that brain. So if we can do our best this season to, when you catch yourself in that loop of guilt, try to flip the switch and, the mindset and just be like, when I'm with my family, I'm so thankful to be with my family. And it actually makes me better when I go back to work. And then when I'm at work, I'm fueling myself and doing what I'm good at. And it makes me excited to go back to my family.
Yeah. I think putting that space between them, also, you're not fully invested in one or the other. You're able to say, okay, well, this has gotten hard, or maybe it's not gotten hard, but you're just taking that step back and being like, okay, we just are putting space in between those two things.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like what Ruth was experiencing is the exact same thing that everybody is experiencing with life. But it's because we get to live our life that it makes us good at our job. And it's because we're good at our job that allows us to enjoy life. But our mindset is ruining both of them for us because we're just feeling bad no matter where we are. And that's just not correct. It's not correct at all. So I love that quote. I'll post it in the community group after this, but I wanted to share it with y'all and see if it clicked with anybody else.
Do you want me to do the next case study? Okay, we're going to read just one more case study. I find that when I take on a project client that I am tirelessly in trying to address needs and achieve success in the transaction, and my clients love me for it. However, my personal life does not love me. And that is not sustainable. It says, in fact, my personal life is often interrupted or simply does not exist. I began real estate as a baby COVID agent and have always just rolled with whatever comes my way. Our market is steady and is leveling out, but I still find that time is of the essence for many new desirable listings and with clients available during the day, evening, and weekends, both buyers and sellers. I have built a strong business and am considered successful by my peers. Vacations and downtime feel limited. as it seems that there is always a need. I am blessed with the most wonderful clients, truly, and I love to serve them, to educate, and to help navigate this process. It is very rewarding on many levels, but again, not sustainable. I'm curious how other agents truly address this. Do they simply state their office hours and stick to them? Only review offers from 9 to 6 during the week? Is that even possible? Like, what is possible?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is our case study. What do you want to say?
I think the biggest thing that we want to remind y'all is that there is a time where things have to be treated with some time sensitivity and some urgency. The problem is that majority of realtors treat everything as time sensitive and an emergency. There's no reason to be refreshing your email in line at the grocery store. There's nothing you can do in that moment if there is something there. All it's going to do is elevate your heart rate and stress you out until you get to a place where you can handle it. So the things like that, little habits where we don't need to be treating everything that it's urgent. I've had an offer come in before super late where like an agent texted me at maybe 9:30 at night and said, "Hey, the offer's in your inbox." And I was already in bed. And I just thought to myself, I'm not going to respond and I'm just going to treat it as if I was already asleep. And the next morning, I dropped my kids off at 7:30. I reviewed the offer. We had, until that night at 9:30 to respond. And I just handled it without getting out of bed and that's why we have time frames. We have time frames and deadlines. Like the first thing I do when I get an offer is look at that deadline. And then I look at my day and like, where is the best? I want to make sure they have plenty of time to review it and that we have time to respond. But if I can stay in bed and not, alert my whole nervous system at this time, that's going to be the goal. So just being really mindful on what is actually urgent. And I think you will be surprised at how rare it is actually urgent. And then when it is urgent, it's not that big of a deal because your family understands this is urgent. Not everything is urgent. They understand if you have to step out once every now and then, but they don't want you stepping out every time y'all are together or glued to your phone every time y'all are together. So just making sure that you're prioritizing what is urgent, but also in this email, and in a lot of the emails we have gotten where people are like, should I time block? Should I say every day at this time I do this? My office hours are 9 to 6 every day, no exceptions. And that just sets you up for failure as well, because we do have to be flexible. And there are some days where I don't have to start my day till 10:30, like some days we get a later start. But just being mindful of how we are designating our time.
Yeah, I definitely think you want to have it set up where you have the rules, some like boundaries, but they need to be pretty flexible to where you're like, look, I have to take every situation on a case by case. I can't just be so rigid with I work from 9 to 6 and I've received this, offer at 7, but I just can't possibly look at it, even if your whole house was empty and it's just you watching TV. Like you have to give yourself some space to like make adjustments.
Yeah, I've shared before that Tanner, my husband, works Wednesday nights. And sometimes after I get the kids to bed on Wednesdays, I like pulling out my laptop and just like getting a little bit ahead. I don't feel guilty about it. He's not home. The kids are asleep. And I'll even like send a bunch of emails to go out at 9 a.m. the next morning on Thursday. And then I go to bed and I'm like, I feel so ahead. And I don't have any guilt, but I try not to do that like when they're home, when he's home, or we're trying to watch our show, or the kids need something. Like just being mindful of the time you have. There's no right or wrong to what your personal schedule looks like. It's more just being mindful that you're not sacrificing one over the other. And it's a balance, and you just have to be able to be flexible and give yourself some grace.
Yeah, because there's seasons where your work is busier and there's seasons where your life things are busier, which is kind of why we chose this time to do this.
Yeah.
Because it's the season where maybe you have more life commitments.
Well, one of the reasons that I messaged Tanner today to say we really need to look at our calendars is because I have been adding a lot of social events to our calendar that just for me. Like, I'm like, I have my Christmas book club dinner, and then I have this friend group dinner, and then I have my office Christmas party this night, and then I have our girls' lunch here. Like, I have a lot of Christmas things. But in a way, I also want y'all to be able to look at that as during this season when we're maybe not, we don't feel like we're working. This is like the best time of year to really nurture those relationships in your database. So if you are getting invited to things at the kids' school or things, groups that you're involved in, organizations that you're involved in, like, you need to show up. It is our job to show up, be social, meet people in real life and not just on the internet, social media, email. Like, you could be building your database and meeting so many new people during this time that don't look at it as a waste of work, because anytime that you can meet new people in real life and have real conversations, that's nothing but nurturing relationships, which is like the number one thing you have to have in this business. And then in January, you have a really healthy, beefy database, and you just saw so many people in the month of November and December. So just be sure to use those times as opportunities for your database. Sometimes it kills two birds with one stone. Like, I'm going to be at Haven's school for 2 afternoons next week decorating her hall for Christmas because I'm room mom. And during that time, I'm meeting all the teachers and like all these other parents that are there helping. So to me, that's gold. Like, that is an opportunity to be face to face with real people and building that relationship, which can only help your business in the long term. So don't feel like you look at things as a waste.
Yeah, definitely not a waste.
Mm-mm.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about what Gretchen said. We almost get so used to fight or flight feeling that when you're always on the go, you're like, well, I have to keep on the go, right?
Yeah.
So maybe separate your to-do list into a have to, a want to, and a should, and not feel guilty for not doing everything on your list.
Yeah, and that's kind of like my email. Like, I do keep a tidy email, but people think I get to inbox 0 every day, and that's not the case because I usually only get to inbox 0 4 or 5 times a year because I do treat my email as a to-do list. But there are many times when I know at the end of the day I'm running out of time, I have to get to carpool, but I know that that thing is not time sensitive, and I have no problem leaving it there until I can get to it. And sometimes it's there for a week or 2 before I can get to it. But it's not urgent. And when I have time, I will get to it. And if it becomes urgent, it gets done. You know, what is it? Thank God for the last minute.
Yeah.
Because that's when everything gets done.
That's my whole motto.
Yeah.
Okay, Misty, will you tell us what the Boundaries book is? I don't think I've read
I haven't
a
read
Boundaries book.
Mm-mm.
Is it just called the Boundaries book? Also, Holly, I completely agree. The week between Christmas and New Year's is great to just not work at all. Nobody's working. Nobody's doing anything. We're all checked out.
Mm-mm. Yes.
So the Boundaries book it's actually a faith-based book, and I'm looking to see, we're doing it in our small group at church, but it is very much helping in every aspect of my life because it gives you very, very good reasons to say no, which is amazing. And I don't typically have a problem saying no. I'm usually pretty good at that. But it really does for anybody. And I'll put in the chat like a link to it. But it really is a good book on boundaries just in life in general, but it can absolutely apply to real estate every day of the week.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me of a quote that I see a lot. It's like, no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
Like,
it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I have this and that and this and that. Let me tell you all my just, no, I'm not
be able to make it.
No. Mm-mm. We actually just got a text yesterday from a mutual friend inviting us to something in the evening next week. And we both just said, I'm sorry, no. Like, we can't.
Like, just
We
That's all-
cannot.
this is all that needs to be said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do we want to talk to Emily for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone, Emily is a member of community, and she's going to tell us a little story about taking some time away from her business and what happened when she came back and what she did while she was gone. So, Emily, if you can unmute yourself, you can have the floor.
Yes, we're ready for you.
I'm like,
You have to almost
let me
there.
see if I can.
Oh, because she's
hit
on
the
her
button.
phone.
All right, this shit might work.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, guys. All right. So I do have a quick little story. I did put 6 little takeaways that I wanted to make sure I shared. Quick thing about me, I'm from South Louisiana. I'm from the Lafayette market, which is about an hour west of where Katie and Alissa are. And so a little bit different market, but a lot of similarities, which is one of the reasons I love them, because I feel like they're my people. I've been an agent since 2014, and I'm a solo agent. In 2021, my mom and my mother-in-law passed away a day apart. So that was like right in the middle of COVID, like it was right after COVID. It had to do with some of that, but not. And it's a very complicated story. But regardless of that, my husband told me, Emily, you need to step away. You need to take a break. This is too much. And I was a full-time agent. So that took a big leap of faith for me. I did not, I was helping the family. I was working. I was, bringing in some money that helped our family. And so it was a big leap of faith. So I had to learn real quick. The first point that I want to say is listen to the people that love you. So if somebody in your life is telling you you're always on your phone, this is our family time, I need you to step away, or they notice things that you don't, they know things about you that you don't, they know you better than you know yourself in some ways, it's okay to trust them. I'm a believer. I'm a Christian. I believe that God gives us everything we have, and His resources are endless anyway. So you can trust the people who He's placed in your life to tell you the truth, and you can trust Him with your business as well. The other thing I would say is build a business that serves you, not the other way around. You're not a slave to your business. Stepping away, I had to realize that burnout is not a badge of honor. Making it through this, being able to say I did this was not going to get me any credit. It wasn't any good to anybody else. The business should serve you and your family, and it's only good for you as long as it's doing that. And that's one of the beauties of real estate, I think, and one of the things I loved about it. I had 4 kids. When they were little, I was able to be home with them. When they were older, when they went to school, I was able to, go to their field trips. I was, just be off during the summers as much as I wanted, Christmas break, all those things. Real estate can be so flexible if you learn how to use it that way. It's a gift. I think a lot of people work 9 to 5s and they don't know what they're missing. Mm-hmm. So I would also say set weekly hours. Yes, y'all mentioned that already, and say them out loud. Tell people. My weekly hours are, I tell people, from 10 to 3. And most evenings, what I do is I try to stay at home at my house till about 10, like from about 8 to 10, I'm at home doing my business office work. Afternoons, I try to get out and do my other appointments. And then I say by appointment as well. So if somebody's getting off of work at 5, Brandon, my husband, I'll tell him, I have a showing. We're going to go see 5 houses or whatever. And it'll be an evening appointment, but that's not the norm. And people respect that. They actually appreciate it. And it makes them take me as a business more seriously, I think, rather than just saying, I'm available at a whim. I'm available at your beck and call. I also believe firmly that the Lord gave us a Sabbath. He gave us a day off. It is a gift to us, and it is, why not take it? I mean, he says He made it for the people, for His people. So take Sundays off. It's okay not to have an open house on a Sunday. The house will still sell. I'm a primarily listing agent. I still have yet to have one expire because I didn't have an open house on Sunday. And there are a lot of people in my office that would love to host an open house for me on Sunday, and I'm fine with giving them that if they want to do that. Another part of that is I also set expectations with other agents. under the documents of our MLS, I have offer instructions. I ripped this off from somebody else that I saw it on, and I thought it was wonderful. But on the offer instructions, one of the things I say is, if you're bringing me an offer after 5 o'clock on, or after 3 o'clock on a Saturday, please make the deadline by midnight Monday night. That way, a lot of my clients actually go to church with me. They feel the same way I do about it. They don't want to feel rushed or having to do it. It just sets expectations. It doesn't mean I'm not going to send the offer. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to make sure that the seller knows. It just means we're not going to be in a rush to handle the paperwork and the logistics. On those offer instructions, I also make sure to say, make sure this line says none or blank, or, make sure you fill it out correctly, because there's a lot of new agents too. So that's been very helpful. Another thing I do, my fourth thing, is that I use a very transparent away out of the office email. I don't think that we have to make, you get the voicemail where it says, I'm probably out working or with a client. I'll be back with you in a minute. My away email, like when I'm on a trip or whatever, I say, thank you for your email. This is but thank you for your email. I'm going to actually be out of the state from this date to this date. My family and I are taking a very special trip. We're going to Maine, and we're going to tour the Maine coast. I tell them about it. And you know what? They're excited about it for me. They love knowing that I'm a human and that I am involved in this. And most of my emails happen to be from other people in the business, and it's refreshing to them. And I tell them the timelines. I tell them who to contact. I have left the burden of helping me. I have humans back home that are helping me with the logistics of things, but I make sure that they know who to reach. I generally am not on another planet, so I can usually get back to them in a reasonable time, but I'm setting that expectation. Some of the trips we've taken where I've been able to do this is we went on a family trip, 7-day cruise. We did a 3-week drive from Louisiana to Idaho and back, which was a lot of dead space. There's a lot of that land that has no internet service. We took a 2-week trip to Maine with the whole family. But the freedom to do that and the freedom to get out and just, kind of hang it up is very liberating and very renewing. But just make it friendly. They don't need access. They need clarity. They just want to know that you're going to get back to them, that you're going to keep your word, and that you've gotten the message. Hand in hand with that, and my point number 5 is make sure you do have humans back home, or if you are taking a break, say you're taking a break for the holidays or you're taking a trip or whatever you're doing, make sure you do have somebody. As a solo agent, I really didn't. When I really realized I have to have somebody was one time I was on a trip. Some very, very close to friends of mine. Actually, I'm closing a deal with them right now. But their mother-in-law wanted to buy a house. And because they didn't want to bother me, they called the name on the sign. They wanted to use me. They were very dedicated to me. They did not mean to do that, but they didn't know how it worked. They called the name on the sign and they were shown the house. I mean, it could have been really ugly. We worked it out, but it was not without headache and frustration. But after that, I was like, I have to have a human who, if I'm on a trip, if I'm away, who can open a door for me. There's not a question of who the commission goes to, but I've got this connection. So it took some logistics with our MLS. You have to add an assistant. They have to, for them to be able to access Flex and all that, like our MLS and stuff. But in general, I have this company, and anytime I'm gone, they have licensed agents, they have transaction coordinators, they have people. I use it a la carte. I use it when I need it. Whenever I was very, very busy, I would use the transaction coordination side. Like she would help me organize papers or upload the listing or, transaction management kind of stuff. But you don't have to use it that much. Use it as you need it, but have it in place. So have a human. Maybe it's somebody in your office. Y'all can trade services like that. But just make sure you have somebody in place that can help you. And then my other number 6, invest in systems that give you structure. When I came back to real estate, I took a year off after my mom and Miss Kathy died. And when I came back, during that time, I only like handled what was already what was already in play. I put everything else. I told everything else no. So there were still a couple of things, but when I came back, so I came back like in May, and it took me about 3 months. I'd been off for a year. It took me about 3 months to really, when you stop a wheel, it takes some push to get it going again. And I've been telling people no for so long. It took a minute to get them to know. So I'll say, Katie and Alissa, your podcast, What to Do When You're New is Slow, very, very good. If y'all are going through something like I was, or you are thinking about taking a sabbatical, taking a break for your mental health or for your family or for whatever, maybe you just had a baby, maybe you're having a baby and you're trying to, how am I going to make this happen? It's okay. During that time, work on your business. And so I worked on my systems. It was about the same time that I found like some of the courses that y'all did. I did the your systems course. I focused on getting all my CE in. I really worked on my structures and my systems and like how can I make my business better. And then it took about 3 months. And after that 3 months, I literally had the best year I've ever had in my entire career. And I made Icon at EXP. It was phenomenal. And I mean, God was very good to me. He was showing me, look, Emily, you can trust me. And so, ironically, I just finished. We had Lee Brown come to give a CE class last week, and so I'm kind of on a Lee Brown like kick right now, and I'm just like fangirling hugely. And I just finished her book. It's called The Seven Deadly Sins of Sales. Number 7 is actually not having boundaries, and I just finished it in the car 10 minutes before I came in here, so it's kind of funny. It was like perfect timing, but. It's true. We don't give our time. We don't set boundaries. We don't tell ourselves it's okay to step back and give ourselves that freedom and realize our business should serve us, not the other way around. And that's it. That's all I got.
I think that was so good. And the whole time that you were sharing how you went through these like life events, you took a year off. And then you came back and it took 3 months to just sort of brush the dust off, get your things back in place. And then you had your best year ever. And it reminds me of the quote that says something like, don't kill yourself and sacrifice your family for a career that would replace you in one day if you left.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was really worth it. Yeah. The book, I saw somebody ask, it's called The 7 Deadly Sins of Real Estate. Or no, The 7 Deadly Sins of Sales. Lee Brown.
Yeah, I put it in the chat for you, Emily.
Mm-hmm. And I think too, like a few of the things you said is build a business that serves you. And if it's only good if it is meeting the requirements that a job is supposed to meet. A job is not meant to be your life. A job is meant to support your life. Is it supporting your family, accomplishing what you need it to accomplish for you? And the reminder that our job is a gift. And I feel like I yell that from the rooftops all the time. We just had a call yesterday where I was like, it's like agents forget that we have the best job, because what other career is it actually your job to call and check on your friends, attend the events that you're invited to, being involved in things? It's your job to go play tennis. It's your job to go do these clubs and volunteer.
Does that mean they're all write-offs? We can write off.
Yes, actually.
Right.
But it's like, I can think of so many, like even like my book club friends, none of them are in real estate, and they all wish they had more time to do the things they want to do, when it's actually our job. And you are so right. It is a gift. And if you're an agent out there feeling like, well, I don't have a team and I don't have this and I don't have that, that might be something in your business model that needs to be looked at. I think having a supportive brokerage is detrimental to being able to take vacation, take time off, have a baby. Whenever I had both of my maternity leaves, I had 5 people on standby, and depending on what came in during that time is how I decided who I gave it to, depending on the personality.
Yeah.
And, I didn't pay these people. They were just there to help.
I do have a logistical question for Emily. So the year that you were gone, was your license active or inactive?
I kept it active.
Okay.
As I could have done anything I wanted. Yeah.
When you get a client in during that time and you were saying no, were you referring them out or were you just like saying no?
Honestly, most of them waited for me.
Mm-hmm.
There was only one who didn't, and that person actually went to another agent that they really knew well on their own. So I could have referred them if I wanted to. That would have been great. But a lot of people waited for me. They knew what we were going through. We're a public. My husband's a pastor. We know a lot of people. They all knew what was going on in our life. It was not, they understood 100%.
Yeah. And you could have totally during that time had somebody, if they didn't want to wait, if it was an urgent
Absolutely.
situation,
Yeah.
collected some referrals, with the podcast growing the way that it has and us dedicating more time to it. The last probably 18 months is the first time that I have been heavily designating some things more by like how far it takes me to get there. My bubble is getting smaller and smaller of how far I'm willing to go just from a time and logistical standpoint. And I have actually enjoyed so much being able to send some local referrals to some of my best real estate friends that I know.
Well, if you need a referral connection in Lafayette, let me know.
Yeah. So it's
but for real, it really is like, absolutely. You've got to have people. And so that was, I almost lost that commission. I had to fight it for it whenever I was on that vacation and the person opened the door. But the reason I didn't was because the person really was dedicated to me and was upset. Like they were like, we didn't mean for this to happen. Oh my gosh, we didn't want to work with that person, and so they kind of fought for me too. But that was a huge, that will never happen again. Never again.
Well, that goes back to what you said about they don't need access to you. They just need clarity. Exactly. I'm out of town. When I'm out of town, I have someone in place to help you. Don't call anybody else. Going back to buyer and seller rules and just letting your client.
Absolutely.
I am out of town, but I have someone helping me. So you're not going to bother me. Reach out and, it's the clarity. It's the communication. When you get an email, it's okay to respond and say, I'll have that to you by Friday at lunch, even though it's Tuesday.
And I cannot.
They're okay.
It really is okay to tell people you're out having fun. That really does. It helps your reputation in the business. It helps your reputation with other agents and other people that, your other professional people. It is not going to hurt you. It will only make you more human to them. And they love it. They send me, oh, congratulations. I hope you have so much fun. It's always so well received.
Community members, don't forget to add yourself to the referral list.
We are seeing so many referrals happening in the group and don't want y'all to miss out on this community benefit.
We have 49 states plus Canada covered.
Need someone in Hawaii.
Check your monthly newsletter for the referral list link.
If you aren't in community, we'd love to have you, especially if you're in Hawaii.
Join us at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership. Okay, do we want to open it up a little bit for some chat if anyone else wants to talk about how do they communicate their boundaries during the holiday season? What kind of boundaries do you have during the holiday season?
And I think Holly in the chat struggling with some luxury clients because they're super demanding. And, I try to remember to treat all my clients the same. I don't care how much money you have. I'm going to treat you the same as all my other clients. And I even have some pretty negative Nancy's right now. And I'm just constantly replying with, I understand how you feel. I wish I could have made that showing write an offer, but they wouldn't do it. It wasn't the house for them. Just sort of reminding them what the reality is, empathizing with them, and letting them know, like, this is going to be different. I'm not going to just like answer at 10 o'clock just because you have, more money than some people. And they'll learn. And then it's like they sign, especially if they're sellers, it's like they signed a contract with you too. So you are protected. And as long as you respond to them in an appropriate amount of time, like you're training them. Every client, you're training them how you work. And you can't change them. You can only control your response and how they let you feel. Mm-hmm.
Holly, you'll enjoy, we're interviewing a therapist early in December. The episode will come out, and Alissa actually tells a story about her luxury client who she basically finally had to put her foot down and be like, I will not do these things until you do these things. And sometimes that's what has to happen, because they will try to put really high demands on you thinking they deserve more for some reason because their property is a luxury property or because of the price point.
Mm-hmm.
But then he was actually nicer to her.
After
he had been so hard on her the whole time, and when she finally said, no, this is not how it works, then he actually changed his tune.
Yeah.
They're super kind, which is great. But they just, like, the lady is so intelligent. I feel like I have to be operating at like top tier level. And y'all, they wanted me to drive them around in my car, which I don't know if y'all saw my story. Like, I literally got a ticket yesterday. I'm not a good driver. I'm mediocre. And so I drove them around in my mom mobile, and it was kind of stressful because I didn't get that break between showing, when you're in your car and you can kind of just be like, but instead she was asking me extremely intelligent questions about the real estate market and stuff. And I was like, it just stressed me out to be like that smart for that many hours in a row.
Yeah, that's nerve-wracking.
It is
sure.
Nerve-wracking. Not to get that break between showings is very tricky.
But I'm supposed to get my very fat commission next week if all goes well. So
okay, good. You earned it. You earned it with all those hard brain days.
I almost feel like it would have been easier to do like three transactions at my average price point and make the same amount of money does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
it felt like triple the work. Like, yeah, it was triple the commission, but
it was more work.
It doesn't come easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. And sometimes when you're doing three, it's just like I think about commercial agents all the time. They have one giant transaction they're working on for months and months. And then if it falls apart, it's like devastating. But if you're working on all these kind of smaller ones that add up to your total, if you lose one, it's a little less upsetting to your whole world.
Mm-hmm.
But it's similar situation.
Yeah.
And you know what I found? Only luxury clients will like argue over text message about a bathtub faucet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm like, you can afford this. It's really okay.
Okay. Yeah. Emily's going to share with us her 6 points in the group. So she's running to do her closing. She was literally in the closing office talking to us. So she's going to do her closing and she'll send us, post it in the group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions, thoughts, concerns about boundaries or any practices that help you feel grounded during this time?
Mm-hmm. Judith recently broke up with a potential listing client because I knew she was going to take too much out of me. That's really funny because I just got a call from a past client of mine who I really, really like. And he was like, I need a favor. And I was like, okay. And he said, my son, he's kind of a hot mess. He wants to go look at this house on Sunday, but I don't know if he can buy a house. And he has a job now, but he's only been there 2 weeks. And I don't know if he wants to meet with a lender or not. He just wants to see this house. And he goes on to tell me a little bit more about his son's situation. And I'm like, I have the perfect agent that's going to help your son. And it's like, not me. But I was like, my office mate is so good at handling these situations. I said, to be honest, she is going to be able to hold his hand way better than I could at this moment today. And he was like, awesome, please. Yes, that's what I need. Give me her number. And so I put them in touch. And she is helping his son buy a house right now, and I will get a referral from it. But it's funny because when I see her in the office, she's like, I'm never complaining. Thank you so much. But yeah, this has been really difficult. She's like, he wants to look at so many things and she's having to follow up so much and like sort of like babysit a little bit. But I'm just like, I'm just so glad it's not me in this particular moment. I just wasn't at capacity to do it. And every time I see her, it reminds me that I don't need to have any regrets about it. So,
Tara, I do the same thing. We both do. I'll say I have an appointment at that time. Is the appointment to take a nap? Perhaps.
Yeah.
I have an appointment. It doesn't matter what it is.
Is it a hair appointment? Maybe. Might be.
You just never know. Okay, they had a walk-in at the office and she asked for a young gentleman to help her. They met in the conference room and I don't think she paused to take a breath for 15 minutes. She told this poor guy about everything from her astrological sign to her ex-husband.
Oh my gosh, that is
like
hilarious.
She asked
for
a young
gentleman.
fella. Okay, sure.
Yeah, she came in and she was like, I need a young gentleman to help me. And then I was like, well, this is going to be good. So, because at first I was like, I could help her. But so I'm like listening and she's like, and my last agent, she was a mom and a wife and she was too busy. And I was like, well, check.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, we would not be a good fit.
Enjoy your young fella.
And this poor guy, he's too new and too nice so he's just like letting her. And I walked by and his eyes are just like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
No doubt. I want to hear about Gretchen's second phone line. So, Gretchen, I guess your original phone, too many people had the number for you to try and put boundaries on it. So you just got a second number that you do you turn off? Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I would put my phone on autopilot or airplane mode, do not disturb at night. And then I was missing calls from like my daughter or my friends. And so I've been wanting to get a second phone line. It was only $50 a month to add it. And so now I'm just got to get in the habit of turning off my work phone at night and using my new phone. But yeah, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. I mean, because once your phone number's out there, it's kind of out there.
Yeah. Well, then it's hard to not go look at your email. Oh, let me just check this one more time, and then you see something. It's like, ugh, I'm going to have to deal with that.
Can you brick your email?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could brick it.
So we interview an agent also in December. We've already interviewed it, but she's the one who left her phone with a friend and went out of the country and let her friend just completely handle everything. But she introduced me to the brick, which is a little square magnet that you set up the app and you have to have this brick to unlock. And you pick the times and you pick which apps. So I just have mine on social media right now, so I can't just mindlessly pick my phone up. And I used to have the timer that's like, your limit is up. And I'm like, ignore, keep scrolling. But with the brick, you can't do that. And I would like to say that if you would have known me in 2015, 2016 and told me that I would not be obsessed with refreshing my email, I would have never believed you. Before I had kids, work was and still is my favorite thing to do. I like to remind people I have to have boundaries in my business, not because I'll burn out, but because I love it so much and I just love being productive and digging in and getting everything done that I actually have to stop myself and look up and be like, hey, your family's here. So I have to set boundaries because I love it so much and just being productive.
Can we talk about someone who did not have boundaries? Christine received a text message from an agent at 3 a.m. saying his client couldn't make the showing of a vacant lot.
Yeah, that's sad.
I mean, that is grounds for having your license revoked.
Yes.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, but not funny, right? But this is also, it's a husband and a wife team. And I don't want to keep everyone, but it's a husband and wife team that also would put that they sold properties that a builder had listed. So they would have the listing, and regardless of who the buyer's agent was, they would stick their signs in the yard. So buyers were like, they weren't my agent. They didn't represent me. But yeah, of all things, like that could be an email. If it's a vacant lot, the seller's not disturbed. No,
Right.
text.
There's all kinds out there. These are the people that need the podcast the most.
Yeah. Holly set up a do not disturb after the seller blew up their phone at 11 p.m. once. Yeah.
We will talk more about the brick in the episode coming up in a few weeks. But if you just look it up,
just Google
the brick. It's a gray square. And
ironically, I get advertised it all the time on Instagram.
We're all going to get ads for it now. We're talking about it with our phones in the room.
Yeah, you should all get an ad for it later. It'll be fine.
I keep it either in my car so that when I'm locked out and I'm in bed, I go to scroll and then I can't because I'm bricked out.
It's creating friction in the process of doing those things. You can go touch the brick at any time and start using whatever apps you locked yourself out of. It's just creating this piece of friction that makes your brain go, well, I don't really want to get out of bed that bad.
Yeah.
You know,
a little extra effort to actually open the app, you know, but it was funny because I was trying to tell Katie, I had bricked myself, but I left my brick at home and I was at her house for podcast day. And I was trying to tell her about this reel that I saw. And I was like, look, I'll just show it to you. And then I was like, I can't show it to you. And so I had to act it out. And I was like, this is what they did. And it was just such a reminder of like how often we pick up our phone and we don't even realize it. The first week of using the brick, I couldn't believe how many times I would just be like, yeah, like go to do it and not even realize I was doing it until it said bricked. And I was like, oh, I don't even need it. Like, not a big deal. So just being mindful, you know, that you're present with your family, a reminder that while we enter these holiday seasons, we don't look at social events, time with people, time with our family as time away from work, when it could actually be a really huge benefit for your work. Even if it's not for work, spending time with your family, let's try to look at it as a way to refuel ourselves so that when we go back to work, we're excited instead of feeling guilty. And just making sure that if anybody is getting your leftovers, let's make sure it's not the people that need us the most. Let's make sure it's not our families and close friends that are getting the worst parts of us. If we can switch our mindset to being grateful for both sides, then they can coexist in harmony without the pressure of, oh, I answered an email after 6:00 when I said I wouldn't, you know,
right.
All these absolute.
The pressure of balance shouldn't be pressure. If you're putting pressure on yourself to stay balanced, it's part of the problem.
Yeah. It's the pressure that's actually making you feel like a failure. The negative self-talk.
For sure.
This was good.
Just delightful. Anybody else have anything they need us to talk about?
We have 5 minutes. 5 minutes left. I'm trying to see what other notes I had from.
I love everyone's really enjoying their schedule text. And I guess I should stop saying this, but welcome to the club.
Yeah, she has an Android, so she's had it for a long time.
You know, just you're like, what the schedule? But I will say this about the schedule text. It is important so that you can get it out of your brain and not focus on it. And the client doesn't know that you're working at that time. But you also have to put a little bit of a boundary in yourself. If you're like, technically I'm working, they just don't know I'm working, but I said to myself I wasn't going to work. Or is it really like,
yeah.
I mean,
but
at least they
schedule a text from an iPhone to a.
No, you can't. It'll have to be an email.
Sister, talk to Apple. Everything that you hate about an Android is an Apple problem. You don't like the green bubble? Talk to Apple. You don't like the schedule text?
I'm Team Alissa on this one.
well, we're having to talk about boundaries right now.
Oh, well, the Apple people might need some boundaries. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, I just can't chill if I don't get it out of my brain. Fair. I have to get things out of my brain all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the other night. So I go to a really early workout class. It starts at 5. And so my alarm goes off at like 4:10 sometimes. Not every morning, but a few days a week. Well, Tate had growing pains and he came in my room at like 2:45 and it took me forever to like get him to calm back down and fall back asleep. So by the time he fell back asleep, it was like 3:25, and I was just awake. I was thinking about stuff, like work stuff, and I knew my alarm was going off in like an hour. So I made the choice to make coffee, and I opened my laptop, and I had the most productive 45 minutes I've ever had. I had 17 emails scheduled to send for 9 a.m. And after I went to the gym and dropped them off at school, I came back home and I slept for 2 hours. And then when I woke up at 10 o'clock, all my emails had been sent and responded to. And I was just like, I'm not even mad about it because I chose to do it. That's what I needed to do in that moment. But I'm not just going to like make myself lay there in agony because I said I would never do this. It just worked out for that one time.
I really love that Carrie has a cautionary tale. She scheduled 15 scheduled texts all for the same time, and then she had to deal with the ramifications of getting 15 responses all at the same time.
Yes.
Spread those things out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I definitely learned the hard way on that one. And it was actually for an event. So I was sending out to all my people that I needed to for that day. And then they all responded and were asking questions and were so excited because I do a big Skating with Santa event. And this might have just been last week. So learn the hard way.
That's hilarious.
Give yourself at least 5-10 random minutes apart so that you actually have time to respond and you're not rushing to your next meeting or something.
Yeah. I like how Christina said she picks a random time.
I do the same thing.
8:17 a.m.
I don't, not 00.
Yeah.
That's no good. You got to do like 06 or some random time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then they don't know.
Then you could just do them like every couple of minutes if you're spreading them out, you know?
Right. Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, because I don't want it to look scheduled. But wait, my neighbor was a very like high-powered pharmaceutical sales rep, up high. Like she just, she was in her, I think she was 60 when she was telling us the story. But she would just get up in the middle of the night. Sometimes she couldn't sleep. She would get in there and start organizing her closet. And then she'd be like, you know what, I'm just going to open up my email and check because she didn't want to wake up her husband who was sleeping in the bed. So she's in the closet with her computer, and she's scheduling all of these emails for 8 a.m.
Okay.
And then people would be like, wow, you really were on top of it this morning because everyone's responding back like, you're at work early today.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe an 8:20 and 8:15. Like she was like, she had woken up and like hit the ground running.
How do you know she was doing this?
She told me.
Oh.
She told the story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, our title agent gets up and like, because that's when they wake up? Or because they're just up in the middle of the night?
The title agent likes to send the settlement statements at 3 a.m.
He gets up to send settlement statements every morning at 3 a.m. That's his purpose. So then by the time he gets to the office, he doesn't have to do settlement statements. He does other things.
What time does he go to bed?
Yeah.
Like 6 o'clock, I think.
Okay, so he's on a much different schedule than I am.
Yeah.
But he sends the email at 3 a.m. I'm like,
that's
which I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, so it doesn't matter anyway. But I'm just like, why do you send them at 3 a.m.?
Does anyone have their phone set up to ding when they receive an email? I haven't had that in years.
I hope not.
Does anyone like get a ding when they get an email?
Let's make sure our notifications are off, okay? We don't need it. Holly's husband does, and it's terrible.
It's terrible. Yeah, that would, it's no good. Look, even Jay had the notifications ding for whatever reason, he didn't know, set up on his Instagram DMs. Oh. So if I liked a reel he sent me, then it would ding on his phone. I'd be like, that isn't got to get. He's like, I don't know why it does that. He's like, I don't even want to open anymore. I'm like, turn the dings off, man. Like, we don't need to hear all this.
Yeah, he's geriatric, she said.
Oh, go fix it for him.
So funny. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Your phone just went quiet.
It just doesn't ding anymore. It's okay. All right. I don't have any other.
This was good.
It's great. Delightful. Thank you all for being here. We don't have our December date yet, but if you participate in Secret Santa, we love for you to hold on to the gift you receive and open it with us during our December live.
If you're available.
That is the most fun.
It is fun to see people open their gifts and see what they got.
Yeah, for sure.
So fun.
Okay. All right. Oh, it's our first call. Well, Carrie, thank you for being here.
Yeah,
I hope it was helpful. Okay, there's another specific agent on monthly, and her Outlook dings the entire episode. Well, that's just rude.
Oh, man. Yeah. Christine's first call.
New friends. I hope
all these new people
with us in Secret Santa.
It's so fun.
It is so fun. Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the new friends. And it was probably Janice if it was from Bethlehem.
Yeah, it might have been.
I think probably it's very likely. Oh, wow. Look at these first
timers.
Welcome, friends. I love it. I didn't know we had so many first timers.
We have been writing a lot of notes lately.
Yeah, we have been writing a lot of notes lately.
We hope you'll get our notes.
We go all the way to Canada sometimes.
Yeah.
It takes extra stamps.
3 stamps to get a piece of mail to Canada.
True story. Oh, Nikki. Of course, Nikki says, welcome. Okay, everybody. We will see you next month. I think Emily said she'll put those 6 things in the group and let us know if you need anything.
All right.
Okay. Bye, friends.
Silence your phones.
Silence your phones.
Wait, before you go, if you enjoyed this episode and if we brought you value, take a minute to rate the show, leave a review, or drop a comment. We are giving away our best stuff for free. Find it at hustlehumblypodcast.com/freebies. We'd also love to see you in Hustle Humbly community. Join us there at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership. We love chatting with you in our DMs. Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast and say hello. If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly Podcast. See you next week.